Hey gang, out and about a little bit today after work, doing a little bit of research on my book on distillation as well as the distilleries of Washington County and I guess to some extent Orange County now, and been out taking some pictures of a few graveyards and a few old distillers' graves to be able to tell their story to everybody, and decided that I'd come out here to Big Springs Christian Church. If you've never been out here, it's a beautiful place. There's a little bit of land conservancy land here and a nice little trail that leads down to the springs. Really worthwhile, a little short hike, kind of neat. Anyways, out here to visit the grave of one of the distillers that I've researched as much as possible and probably found all that I'm going to find on, unfortunately. Didn't seem to be well reported in history. I mean, there's some stuff there, but finding anything of depth is becoming increasingly difficult. I think I've about mined that dry. But I come out here quite a bit, so I've used the man's name several times when I'm doing demonstrations. And there may have been a time, may or may not have been a time, when my father and I might have illicitly been distilling and slapping a label on a jar that said Hell's Half Acre. So Hell's Half Acre was the area around Beck's Mill. At one point in time, it was a pretty rough area, drew a rough crowd. You had lines of people, mostly boys that were teenagers and young men in their 20s, that would be waiting 2 or 3 days to have their corn ground or distilled into whiskey out at the mill. And a nice little community grew up around that offered everything that a man could want in one place. Gambling, women of the night, whiskey, you name it, it was there. So there around Beck's Mill became known as Hell's Half Acre, and one of the characters that figured prominently into that was a fellow by the name of Thomas Green. He was an itinerant or traveling preacher of the day. Came in, ran a distillery for the Becks for a short while. Alexander Beck then went on to build another quote-unquote Beck's Mill on down Mill Creek where it dumps into Blue River. He ran it for a short time, and then he sold his shares off to Thomas Green. And then Alexander went on down to Texas. A little area down there known as Beck's Hill, where you'll find a lot of the same names buried in the cemetery there that are buried here at Big Springs. Anyway, Thomas ran the mill and he ran his distillery, and he had a fellow in the community by the name of Absalom Charles who came up with a little rhyme that he'd try to get off on Tommy every time he could. So he'd say, Thomas Green, prettiest man I've ever seen. Miller, distiller, soul saver, and sinner skinner. And we use that a lot in our demonstrations. So I'll come out here every once in a while and I'll give old Tommy a little drink of something and pay my respects to him. And I thought I'd share a little bit of his history with you. The mill that he owned ended up becoming Rudder Mill when Thomas died, and his children sold off his assets. One of his children ended up moving to Fredericksburg, started a mill down there. Those of you who are familiar with the canoeing on Blue River, the canoe place there, or the kayaking, sorry, the kayak place there on Blue River at Fredericksburg, that was the second Green's Mill. Anyhow, this is the gravestone of Thomas and his wife Anna Green. Thomas Green died September 15th, 1856, aged 52 years and 19 days. Anyhow, hope you guys are having a good day. Enjoy.